Hey, shalom, shalom. Barakar Tawah, which is good morning. Anakna Wahai, Boria Sha'ala, Hawalakim La Tham, Call Shabawai, Bahar Kha, Wakak Shaw, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Ma'amath, which is truly hate with the Hebrew Israelites, coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, to preach to you so called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners, Nacham, Atham, Kayah, Malak, Wathashemayim, Korah, repent for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call Layam La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Chah, Kodash, Wamashana, Kabadim Zukoim Nawa, Wamalakim Shah, Yeshala Zukoim, Chah, Gadawa, Wachasa, Washalawam, Wabarakim, Laha, Bacharim, Shah, Kawaya, Shala, Shalawam. So all praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means he exists, Bahasham, in the name Yahweh Shai delivers. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel, Shalom, which means peace. So this is an article on RT. It reads, BRICS to focus on curbing dollar reliance South Africa. It says the five-country alliance will also discuss expansion at its summit in Johannesburg. The leaders of the BRICS nation will discuss ways to eliminate dependence on the U.S. dollar during their meeting in Johannesburg this week. South African Deputy President Paul Mashatile has said, pretty much, and it was a video on social media pretty much on the 22nd, which is today, going into this. All right, what is this going to do? Being that America is a land of consumption, a land of consumerism, all right, a land of traffic. It's a lot of trade done over here, you see, but a lot of things are imported here. You see, so being that the USD isn't going to mean anything per se to these other countries, things are going to be a lot more expensive to import. They were saying, reportedly that it would be upwards of around 55 US dollars to be like $1 in one of the BRICS nations. All right, so what that means is if you want to spend like $50 in one of these countries, it'll pretty much just be $1,100. So a lot of things are gonna have to be bought inside America, Babylon the Great. All right, and this is just gonna push forth for like more inflation. All right, because like how they did with it's gonna be inflation and also famine and shortages, because pretty much how they did like with the tissue during like the 19 situation, the demic. Pretty much people was buying a whole bunch of tissue and stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot of stock buying, so it's gonna be a shortage of different supplies. All right, so that's gonna rise the prices up. All right, supply and demand. It says the bloc comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which Russia and China, they're pretty big nations. Also India, which was once a ally of the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of these different nations is breaking away from America, Babylon the Great. Let's get a precept. This is Obadiah Ibadiah, chapter 1, and we'll get verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest. Verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. All right, which this is going into Esau as a whole, you see, but it can be applied to America, Babylon the Great, because nobody wants anything to do with America, Babylon the Great. When you go into that word small, it goes into the Hebrew word Quatan. All right, and it says Quatan, which it comes from the word Quawat. Quatan means insignificant, unimportant. All right, and you go into this root word Quawat, it says to loathe, detest. All right, these nations are feeling a detest for the the U.S. dollar. All right, for the American dollar. All right, so they no longer want to play ball with America, Babylon the Great. And again, America is a land of traffic, a land of business, a land of consumerism. You see, so pretty much what kept them on top was a multitude of things. You see, due to prophecy. You see, but one thing that kept them on top was the military, and then they had dominance from the U.S. dollar. You see, because everybody was on their system. Everybody pretty much had to play ball by America, Babylon the Great's rules. And one a tool that they was using again was the military and the USD. All right, and also their laws and like legislations and stuff like that. It says, and that was pretty much the point. I'm gonna go back to this article. Oh no, I'm gonna get this one. Verse 7. It says, this is Obadiah 1:7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right. And pretty much it says they deceived thee. All right. And going back to this article, places like, China, they used to, America used to heavily buy stuff from China, you see, but that relationship is going to falter. It's faltering. All right. India, they used to be a ally, with America, Babylon Great, you see, but now they're over on the, the BRICS nations. All right, so it says, it's a lot. So it says, China and South Africa has taken several steps towards reducing the share of the greenback and mutual settlements by boosting payments and members' currencies. So pretty much they're using other currencies other than the USD. It says today the world takes notice of this block because it's at the forefront of the global discourse to curb the dependence on the dollar. Mashatile told business leaders from the BRICS countries in Johannesburg on Monday, we are not here to compete with the West. We want our own space in global business. So pretty much the U.S. isn't going to have the same type of dominance, you see, because it's like, when Jake would make their different communities, they no longer needed Esau, you see. And when you don't want to play ball with Esau, Esau gets mad. So pretty much they're making their own specific little groups. All right, further tying into that, the men of thy confederacy pretty much have deceived thee. Roughly paraphrase. I'm getting another precept. This is Yeshaya, also Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1. It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they should deal treacherously with thee. All right, so pretty much destruction to those that, is in their spirit. All right, that spoilers, all right, and dealeth treacherously. And who does this? America, Babylon, the Great. All right, saying, hey, if you don't do this, you can't have this. Messing with these other countries' money and stuff like that, their economy, all right, or putting on different restrictions, the different sanctions and things like that, So these other countries is dealing treacherously with America, Babylon the Great, all right. Continuing on, let's go back to the article. It says members of the bloc have floated the idea of creating a common currency for intra-member trade, which intra-member goes into, pretty much like the intranet, because you got an internet where it's like everybody can get up there, worldwide internet, world wide web. Intranet is like like you had walkie-talkies and you pretty much can hear everybody that's in your particular group. So if you had, say you had 40 people and 5 people made a group, those 5 people, it's pretty much a intra. All right, enter would be like for everybody. So pretty much the group that is referring to is the BRICS. All right, so it says BRICS countries, which currently account for 40% of the world's population and almost a third of the global economy, which that's a lot. It says are also expected to discuss the addition of new members to the group. It says an enlarged bloc will represent about half of the global output by 2040, double the share of the group G7 of the world's most developed countries, according to the Bloomberg economics estimates, in which the G7s, the summits, all these world summits is pretty much coming together, to destroy the nation of Yasha Allah, you see. But in doing all this, these countries feel like, they got next, which that can chiefly be applied to Esau Edom. He feel like he gonna rule forever, you see. But these heathen also think that, they're gonna they pretty much feel like that their enterprise is gonna keep working. All right, which that's not how it's gonna work, Continuing on, it says the 15th BRICS summit is taking place in Johannesburg, South Africa, between August 22nd and the 24th today. It says more than 20 countries have formally applied to join BRICS, and several others have expressed an interest in recent months. Several countries, including Argentina, Algeria, Egypt, Turkey, which, if I'm not mistaken, Turkey was also a U.S. ally, says have hinted that they may seek BRICS membership. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that precept again because it's pretty much what we're seeing. All right, we're seeing these nations break away from America, Babylon the Great. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." All right, nobody wants anything to do with the U.S. dollar. No one wants anything to do with these Edomites in the U.S. All right, because they're seeing that this particular system is not beneficial. It doesn't work. All right, it's built off of debt. All right, let's get another precept. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. We'll start in verse 5. It says, "Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home." All right, and this chiefly can be applied to those in the U.S. because they worry about other people's affairs when they got affairs that they can't really handle in their own country. All right, we're seeing the morality of America, Babylon the Great, being taken down. All right, and these other countries are seeing that, so that's why they're teaming up and they're joining together, and making bans pretty much because they're seeing that, hey, the life of the Western lifestyle does not work. All right, the economy type that they got set up is not working. All right, so they're going back and forming up their own teams. All right, it says, "Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, by his philosophies, all right, the westernization, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is his death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." All right, because this place is known as a melting pot. All right, it says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say," all right, it says, "Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long?" All right, and that's pretty much what's taking place. All right, because that's the goal of Esau Edom. Pretty much he increases things. He takes things that's not his. All right, he borrows them on credit, or he will borrow them on writing laws and legislations to actually go in and saying, oh, they got this over here, we need to go and do this, and then the whole time he's stealing resources from these other countries. All right, it says, "And to him that ladeth himself in thick clay." All right, these nations are seeing that, hey, this type of system, this credit, it don't work. You see, so that's why they're switching over to that gold standard, or having their money actually backed by something. All right, because the heavy pledges, the debt going into this thick clay does not work. All right, because it's not backed by anything. It's always going to rise. That's why when you look at how much a dollar was back, and which a dollar could get you 40 years ago, you can't get that now. You see, you probably could have got a full tank of gas off a dollar in the 90s, but now a dollar is only going to get you a sip of gas, if that, You see, but just want to go into the article. Adawan Tazaza Badnaya Palos, where there was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wow, Adawan Tazah, Atham Yash, Yawam Tawab. Lord's will you all have a good day. Shalom, shalom.